Hey Google, switch on main wall. How cool is that? Yep, main wall is on, and automating your reptile room is the way to go. Maybe. These guys are known for being very feisty. Dancing with cobras, eh? Hey? I think it's fitting to start with something that you haven't seen ever before. Well, here you haven't seen it. He's hiding away in the back, but there's a little poop that I need to clean. So here we have my male rhino viper. Do as I say and do not do as I do. They do have somewhat of a prehensile tail and are actually fairly good at climbing. So we are going to put him down as we chat about him. These guys are absolutely incredible and stunning. I've only had him for a few months. He was a little bit underweight, so I've got to slowly bring up his weight, but they have a very slow metabolism. So if you feed them too fast, too quickly, it will kill these snakes, and you do not want to do that whatsoever. I mean, this guy is absolutely incredible. I only have a male. If you guys know of any females available that are captive, not wild caught, captive ones, let me know, because I would be really interested, because look how stunning these animals are. Also known as the river jack or the butterfly viper. I like calling them the river jack because that does describe where they are found in the wild, all the way from West Africa through Central Africa into some parts of Eastern Africa, like the Kakamega forest in Kenya. And you'll probably never see me take this boy out again, because rhino vipers are very, very susceptible to any sort of stress whatsoever. So it's not a snake I ever handle. This is the second time I've handled him since I acquired him a few months ago. Check out that tail, absolutely prehensile. They've actually been found like up to 2 meters up in trees. So just because it's a thick body snake doesn't mean it doesn't climb. Scales. He has beautiful cephalic appendages on his nose there, those horns. You can see this guy has a very long, narrow, slender tail, and that's how you can tell he's a male quite easily with these species. Females have short, stubby tails. And say goodbye to him, because you're not going to see me take him out again. Maybe this is kind of the entrance to the reptile room here. You've got knives everywhere, you've got cameras because I love cameras, all that sort of stuff. This over here is my wall of stuff that I use to take care of all these wonderful animals here. I've got hook sticks, tweezers, you name it, I got what I need in order to properly take care of some of these really toxic animals and some of the not so toxic ones too. I've got my bite protocols, which are very important and is right on the door out, so if anything happens, that is there. Got first aid booklets that are magnetized to the door here. The certificates, including my dad's certificate on like handling venomous snakes, so super proud of my dad for that. These things are really cool. Doctors actually use them. They biopsy tweezers or whatever you call them, but I use them to feed snakes, not biopsying anything. If you could take a walk down here, we just see a bit of storage. We see all the cages that we'll go through now, and you spin around, we can see some of the shrimp. These are the 3 shrimp tank enclosures, tanks, not really enclosures or setups, but they're stunning. It's something really peaceful to look at. I like shrimp, but it's my dad's thing, and we kind of do it together, so it's a nice bit of father-son bonding, you know? Come along with me here into the second room just so we can kind of give you a bit of a feel for the space. This over here is my workstation where I spend far too much time editing and stuff like that now that I am back at filming and that sort of thing. We have a few enclosures here, we have enclosures here. One of the biggest pities is constantly replacing light bulbs all the time. It's so frustrating and really annoying because they seem to always blow out. And then we have my geckos, because actually I'm breeding quite a few geckos in order to feed some of the rare viper species that I have. I know it's sad, but it is the circle of life. These animals need to eat, and you kind of you know, it's the circle of life. Then this is the hatch box where we hatch some incredible babies, and my hats. I love hats. Oh my goodness. Let's start with the ball python and my favorite ball python. Well, one of my favorite ball pythons that I have over here. Ball pythons are such incredible animals. I've had this girl for almost 10 years now. She actually hatched out in 2013. She was my first hatchling ball python. Super, super incredible. Her name is Stripe. Previously, we thought she was a he when I didn't know how to properly identify snake genders, but she's a she. She had eggs, so 100% a girl. And all these enclosures do have lights. They don't have UVB and that sort of stuff yet, but that is the plan in the future. Oh, sorry, girl, did I give you a fright? But light is energy, and energy is good. Good for the snakes. You can actually see their behavior change from having no lights in the enclosure to actually having lights. Now we got to show you the Fields Horned Viper. Oh, I was on like a search for these guys for many years, and I did a quite nice story about them and how I bred them in the last year. She's actually taking a break this year. I'm not breeding her because you just got to give them a break. Vipers have a much slower metabolism, so you got to give them their rest. Pseudocerastes fieldi, and I feel like everybody wants these snakes because they're actually related to the spider-tailed viper, which everybody wants. And that's not a good reason enough to get these, because yes, they're beautiful, but you must get them because you love these animals, not because they're related to something else that you love, but they're absolutely stunning. And the texture of their skin, let's see if I can get her tail in my hands. Nice and gently. Okay. She doesn't want to play it nice right now. That's okay. We don't mind. But the feeling of their scalation is just absolutely incredible. It's almost it's like a matte, dry feeling. I can't even explain it. It's just so beautiful and so perfect. The male we're not going to take out. He's in shed, so we don't want to mess with him. They have these cute little tails. The tip of their tail is pure black, and they use it to caudal lure, which is like using it as a lure to make it look like a worm or whatever, so a lizard or a bird comes by and wham, they bite it, and then they got a nice meal, of course. What's interesting about the babies is when they hatch out, yes, these vipers lay eggs, which not all vipers do. Some give live birth. They have these pure white tails, opposed to her mommy over there, which has that black tail that I just showed you. This little guy's tail's already starting to fade. When they were babies, it was like white, but right now it's kind of like an off-whitish color, so it's gonna get darker with age. I'm not sure why that is, but it's really cool to notice. And they're doing absolutely, really spectacularly. I mean, look how large they are since you last saw them. They were tiny little guys, but they're doing so well and super feisty. Love them to bits. Don't you just want to give them all kisses on the lips? Well, maybe not the lips. That won't be the smartest thing to do because they are a little bit toxic and there's no anti-venom. And here we have my puff adder girl right now. There's an interesting video coming out about her where we actually go and step on these puff adders to see if they're gonna bite. Interesting results. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be released on the 10th of October. It's a really exciting video where we have Professor Graham Alexander in it too. These guys are actually the most widespread of the Bitis family, found everywhere except for true deserts and rainforests. And this is the only snake that we know of that is absolutely scentless. Dogs, elephants, you name it, they can't smell these snakes. And guess what? The study is actually being funded by the US military. How incredible is that? Corn snakes. You want to know why they're called corn snakes? Oh, that girl's buried herself there. They're in there for breeding time. It's because their belly scales over here look kind of like corn, and no, they do not eat corn. I have been asked that question before, and no, they eat rats and mice, especially here in captivity. In the wild, their diet might vary quite a bit, but they do not eat corn. They're not vegetarians. You know that saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question? There are stupid questions, but there's also a thing, don't be afraid to ask a question, because how are you supposed to know if it's a stupid question if you don't get the answer? Well, at least I think there are such things as stupid questions, but that shouldn't deter you from asking those questions either. Corn snakes are just awesome, man. Here we have Beth, my wrinkles, in her trash themed setup over here, with the other one over here, which is more of a naturalistic looking setup. So my idea in my head was, this is what the wild is kind of looking like now, and this is what it should look like, but I can't seem to keep the plants alive in this enclosure whatsoever because they dig them up. Elapids, man, elapids. So elapids are basically like cobras, mambas, those sorts of things. And here we have Bubbles. Yes, Bubbles, my friendly, not so friendly forest cobra, Naja melanoluca. I don't know his common name because they've been split up into 5 separate species recently, and the common names don't really matter as much as the scientific names do, because in different areas of the world and different parts of the regions where these snakes are found, they'll be called different things. So as long as you stick to the Latin names, you know exactly what the species is. But I'm really glad he's not out at the moment, because there seems to be a change now that the season has changed. It's breeding season for the snakes and they know it, so this guy's become quite spastic. And he can't wait for his big new enclosure at the new facility. I was going to build him one here, but why build him one here if there's no need, because we're moving now. And then all these top enclosures here are full of my ball pythons, as you can see here, because I don't want to work with venomous snakes at like above eye level, because that can be far more dangerous to your health. And then there's stuff in here, there's stuff in there. We have Africa's most toxic cobra supposedly in that enclosure here. I want to take out this feisty little girl, so you're going to fling over that way while I take this girl out. She's quite cantankerous compared to the male, who is very, very nice and friendly. You can almost call him a corn snake, but don't treat him like a corn snake because he's still a very toxic cobra. But this girl, I actually want a longer hook. Don't know what I was thinking, using a short hook, because she is quite a spazzo. Woo! Hi. You see, as she strikes, she flings some poop away too. Why is the cameraman moving so far away? He's laughing. He doesn't like the snake. I love the snake, but she is a bit of a bumful to work with. I say bumful because each time she strikes, a bunch of bum fluid comes with it. Ugh. Dancing with cobras, eh? Hey? 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 Come on, just stay still for a moment. Just stay still for a moment, please. Just stay still. I want to talk about you, girl. My brother's moving back nice and quickly there. Okay, there, got her tail. Now she can just wriggle around and stay still. There we go, there we go. Come on. Cape cobras are super interesting snakes, from being very color variable, from something like a pure black to a bright orange to, well, more yellow than orange, to a speckledy snake. They are very, very color variant, should I say. And they are one of the 2 species that actually claim lives every single year in southern Africa. So yes, your puff adders and your Mozambique spitting cobras account for the majority of the bites. They don't account for many or any deaths, having said that. Hey girl. But this species, because they are really potently neurotoxic, along with the black mamba, are the 2 species in southern Africa that claim or account for the lives that are being lost due to snakebite, which is unfortunate. And what's really fascinating with them is, you know how much I say I love puff adders? Well, they also really love puff adders, because that's one of their favorite meals. Let's see if we can get her to stay still just for the camera right now. Hey, there we go. No, I don't want any poop or venom on my hat. Please. Please, girl. There we go. The venom composition seems to change from locality to locality, as well as depending on the age of the animal too. That being said, babies can be more toxic than adults, but that does not mean they are more dangerous, in fact, because adults have a much larger venom yield. And the myths of baby snakes cannot control their venom, that's absolute rubbish. They can control the amount of venom that they release. Ooh, this room is smelling like a bunch of poop. Snakes are not wanting to attack you, harm you whatsoever. So if I slowly turn around and don't make a movement to provoke her, she will actually not come forward and chase me. As you can see, snakes don't want to chase you. They want to rather get away. So I got to watch in the reflection if she's going to chill down, because she's probably looking at fleeing off in that direction and getting away from me, because she doesn't want to bite me. When I was actually working with Murphy a few days ago in this very shirt over here, he pooped all over me. He was like thinking he's Picasso or something. Splatter all over my shirt. It was quite gross. Check out Murphy's enclosure. He's a really nice snouted cobra that you've seen before, and he's got a nice new setup that is kind of like a Western theme and also themed towards like army military. So there's an old pellet gun in there, there's a few helmets, there's a helmet that is acting as a water bowl, there's an ammunition case, he's actually busy hiding in a cannon shell right now. How cool is that? And there's a whip, you know, Western style, and I've got a hat hanging there. My old hat from when I was a little boy doesn't fit my head anymore, because I think there's a little bit more information in my head than when I was a little guy. That's why it's getting big. Dangerous thing. Whew, I'm gonna be bitten, ain't I? Baby yellow anacondas! So cool. These guys were born in March, I believe, or February. This one is the one that likes eating a lot, but you got to grow them slowly. So he's in the blue at the moment. So he's hydrating himself in order to shed properly. These guys are known for being very feisty. I don't know why I even flinched there. I was expecting that. Just don't bite my face, please. Rather go for my hand. Yellow anacondas, especially as babies, are very cantankerous because everything's out there to get them. So they're wanting to bite and protect themselves. Here we have a 4-foot tank, I believe, or 4-foot enclosure. Ooh, lovely noise. And we've got a couple leopard geckos in here. No, where are you going? So this used to be Murphy's old enclosure over here before it was cleaned out and that. So when he saw me sticking my hands in here, he was like, I forgot that was not Murphy's enclosure, even though I just showed him Murphy's new enclosure, which he's been in for a few months. So here we have some nice little leopard geckos. Leopard geckos are so cute. In here we have my little crested gecko male. Everybody loves seeing him when they come visit the Herp studio. He's a showstopper, even though he's a naughty little gecko. He's on the skinnier side because he doesn't like to eat a lot. You can try feed him as much as you want, and this is the size he stays. His name's Sticky. I finally named him after many years of having him. I thought Sticky was a cute name. In here we have Raven. Her head's right over there. She's poking out, saying hi to us, but I'll show you some B-roll of her. She's in a nice large enclosure over here that she just has a bunch of fun in. She loves water and her water bowl, spends a lot of time in there. And what's really nice is because I work here so often, she gets accustomed to me. So she's a banded savanna forest cobra or savanna banded forest cobra, Naja savanula, and they kind of look more like the Congo water cobras in my opinion. And they're just the coolest animals. They get really big, they climb trees, they swim, they eat fish. I've fed her fish before and she loves it because they've been recorded to do that, so why not give them that opportunity? And here's my little copperhead, the only little pit viper that you're going to see in this video. They're smelly, really smelly. I love the banding and the coloration, but they stink. It's the weirdest smell. I know I complain about snakes stinking, but cobras and mambas, they also really stink, but it's not like a smell like this. I prefer that weird curry mamba smell than what these guys smell like. So I've got a bunch of animals, but we have to move now, and that's exciting because it means more space for bigger enclosures for the animals we have. Nice outdoor setups. Hey little guy, beautiful, beautiful West African dwarf crocodile here. my absolute favorite species of crocodile. Where are you going? He's like a big gecko, absolutely super terrestrial. What are you doing, my guy? Ow, ow, ow. You're gonna talk to me? Okay. Bye.